Hello, everybody. Hello. It is that time of the day. It is 12 p.m. on a weekday, and we all know what time that is, right? It is time for English First Additional Language, Grade 8. I welcome everybody to today's lesson. If you are there, please say hi in the chat. Let me see who is with us today. Let's see who is joining us for today's lesson. Is somebody there? Is somebody there? Let's see. Hello. I see so many hi in the chat. So many highs in the chat. Thank you, everybody. Thank you. Wow, thank you. Hello, everyone. Hello, thank you. Welcome to today's lesson. Everybody, welcome to the lesson of the day. And this is what we will be doing today. Today's lesson is really about paronyms. But before we get there, we will pass through our former friends, synonyms, antonyms, homonyms, and then we will get to paronyms, okay? So it's going to be an awesome lesson. I hope everybody's ready for today's lesson. I am ready, and without a waste of time, let us get on with it. All right. So like we do every time, before we get to the lesson of the day, let us recap what we did in the previous lesson, which was yesterday. So yesterday, remember, we learned about prefixes, suffixes, as well as the root of words. We said that a prefix is the letters that are found at the front of some words. You remember? And we said a suffix is the letters that are found at the end of some words. And we said that a prefix and a suffix can change the meaning of a word. They can change the tense, with those 3 degrees of adjectives. You remember them? The positive degree, you remember them, guys? The positive degree of adjectives, the comparative degree, as well as the superlative degree. We use the suffix for that. And we also learned about the root of a word, which we said it is the part of a word that contains the basic meaning of that word. And if you were here in the previous lesson, we did go through many and many and many of those examples. Yes. So that is what we were doing yesterday. And I also gave you a homework. Did you do it? I see there's someone who has raised a hand. Please use the chat to ask your question, please. All right. So yesterday I gave you a homework based on prefixes and suffixes, and I did promise that we will do corrections. So let us do them quickly. All right. So remember, question 1 was about prefixes, where you had to complete the table. There are the solutions to that homework of yesterday. So I would love for you to really take a screenshot of this so that you can see what you did right, what you did wrong. And if it happens that you still have a question, you can ask quickly before we start with the lesson of the day. Right, so here are the answers for question 1, which was about prefixes. Remember, I gave you these 10 prefixes and I asked you to write the meaning of them and to also give a word which is an example of how those prefixes can be used or are found in certain words. You remember that? So there are they. For question 1, it was about prefixes. So for just a moment, I will leave this on so you can all take a screenshot you know. So these are the answers for those prefixes. Okay, so remember, if you have a question, the chat is open. The chat is open, so you can ask your questions, and I will attend to your question as soon as I see them. As soon as I see your question in the chat, I will attend to it. I will answer it. All right. Okay. Okay, so this was question one. Let's quickly go to question two. Question two was about suffixes, where you had to complete the table below by giving the meanings of the given suffixes and an example of a word for each. So there are the suffixes I gave. Then the meanings of those suffixes was also given, right? And also examples of the words which have those suffixes. So I will also leave this just for a few seconds for you to take a screenshot, to see if you did well or not. So remember the purpose of corrective work is not to make you feel bad if you got something wrong, but it is to fix, you know, your your misunderstandings, your misconceptions, so that you can see what you did wrong, so you can correct it. Okay. So yes, do not feel bad about anything you may not have gotten right. It is okay. We are all human, and as humans, we tend to make mistakes from time to time. So remember, if you have a question, the chat is open for you. Please use it. So please use the chat for your questions. So this is what you had to write for the questions that we gave yesterday. So are we all together? Remember, if you have a question, the chat is open. Ask your questions. Wherever you are lost, you can ask, and as soon as it appears on my chat, I will get to it and we will answer you and help you, because that is the reason why I am here for you today. Okay, without further ado, let's get on with today's lesson. Remember, we said today's lesson is about paronyms, but before we get there, we will drive through synonyms, antonyms, as well as homonyms to get to the paronyms. Okay, all right, so let's get started with synonyms first. Right, what are synonyms? Remember, a synonym is a word that means the same as another word in the same language. You remember that, right? And there's an example there. The synonym for fast is quick. The synonym for present is gift. And the synonym for help is assist. And I know that you can have other synonyms. So if you can think of an example of a synonym at this present moment in time, please use the chat for us so you can share those synonyms with us. Right, then if you want to get more synonyms, you can use a thesaurus. A thesaurus is a book like a dictionary where you can get synonyms. And remember, we said the difference between a thesaurus and a dictionary is that in a dictionary you find the word and the dictionary will give you the meaning or the definition of that word. But with a thesaurus, when you find that word, it will give you the word as well as other words which mean the same thing as the word you are looking for, right? So, for example, if you are looking for a synonym for the word beautiful, a thesaurus will tell you other words which mean the same as the word beautiful, right? So that is really how it works. Remember, the chat is open for your questions, your concerns, and everything. Okay, let's see. All right. So there are comments in the chat. Let's see what everyone is saying. Tyrese says synonyms are different words that mean the same thing. Yes, Tyrese, you are correct. That is what a synonym is. Synonyms are different words that mean the same thing, right? Like I've showed in my example there, fast, the word fast and the word quick, there are two different words, but they mean the same thing. Thank you, Tyrese. Ishani says synonyms are words yes, synonym means similar. Yes, Ishani, something like that. So Tyrese gives us more examples saying quick, fast, speedy, and rapid. Yes. Preston also gives us an example saying small and tiny. Thank you. Neo says high and soaring. Yes, Neo, you are correct. And I'm wondering, is this Neo the singer? Thank you, Neo. Thank you so much. Yes, the synonym for high is soaring. Yes, you are correct. Then we have our viewer saying the synonym for car is vehicle. Correct. Preston saying the synonym for hate is dislike. Thank you. Helene saying the synonym for dark is black. Yes. Nkanka saying the synonym for house is shelter. Lesedi S saying big and large. Yes, so thank you so much, guys. Thank you so much for your examples. So remember, today's lesson really is about paronyms. So we won't really dwell much on synonyms, okay? Yes, so we are just driving through. So it's going to be a quick drive through, right? So antonyms, remember what we said about antonyms? So antonyms. An antonym is a word that means the opposite as another word in the same language, right? So as an example, I said the antonym for the word fast is slow, for arrive is depart, for below is above. So you will see that with antonyms, it's essentially the opposite. So I look at the chat. Ishani says antonyms is the opposite. Yes, you're right, Ishani. Favor also says it's opposite. You're right, favor, gift. And Helene gives an example saying night. The opposite of night is day. Yes. Preston says living and dying. Thank you. Lesedi S says good and evil. Right. Mkon says an antonym is a word that. Okay. So Mkon is still on synonyms. Yes, Mkon. Synonyms are the words which mean the same. Okay. Thank you, Mkon. So Preston says wet and dry. Examples of antonyms. Tyree says legal and illegal. Then even and uneven, partial and impartial. Thank you. Preston says fast and slow. Yes. Helen says happy and unhappy. Preston says lazy and energetic. That's true. Our viewer says goodbye and hello. So yes, those are examples of antonyms. Then we have Nkanka saying handsome and ugly. Neo saying seen and unseen. Preston saying clean and dirty. Bill saying run and walk. Now that's an interesting example. So yes, thank you guys for the example that which you gave. This really shows that you all understand what antonyms are and how they work. Mm-hmm. The city as saying fat and thin, right? So the next section before we get to paronyms is homonyms. Homonyms. Do you all remember homonyms, guys? Mhm. So now we are on homonyms. Remember the last time we said homo means the same? Remember? Yes, yes, yes. Homo, guys, is a prefix. Ne? Yes. So this takes us to the previous lesson. So do you see, guys, that all these things that we should do, although we do them separately, but they all go together. Remember? So homonyms. So homo is our prefix, which means the same. Name will be our suffix, which refers to name. Therefore, homonyms means the same name. So if we could define it, we can say that homonyms are words that are spelled the same and they sound the same when they are pronounced, but they have different meanings. Okay, let me look in the chat, see what you say about it. So we have Fever Gift saying that homonyms are words that sound the same, but they do not have the same meaning. You are right, Fever Gift. Tyrese says homonyms are words that are spelled the same but have different meanings. You're right, Tyrese. And as an example, Leslie S says ball and ball. Remember, if you give us examples, tell us what they mean. Okay. So we have Helene saying cool for like cool clothes and cool for like soothing. Okay, that's a good example, Helene. You know, yes. Kristen is saying live and live, or is it live and live? Okay, so please, who said that? So please, Preston, tell us whether is it live or is it live? Okay, tell us which one is it. And Fever Gift saying meat and meat. Fever Gift, those ones. Okay, right. So Fever Gift, MEAT and MEEET, those are homophones. Okay, they are not homonyms. Remember, with homonyms, we say homonyms, they are spelled the same. So when we write them with the same spellings. Okay, they are spelled the same, they sound the same, but their meanings are different. So Fever Gift, the ones you gave are not homonyms, but rather they are homophones. Okay, okay. Nkanka saying still and still, those are also homophones because they are not written the same. Okay, right. Okay, so Preston saying live. Okay, yes, live is correct. Live as in something which is alive, like a live animal. And live, which means something which happens at the moment, you know, as it happens. Thank you for your wonderful example, Preston. So here are the examples I'm giving here. I gave bat, which is the winged animal, as well as bat, which is a wooden sport equipment that they use in cricket, right? So I use them in sentences so you can see the difference. I said the bat flew past the moment he hit the ball with the bat. So in my sentence, you realize that the first bat is about the animal and the second bat is about the sport equipment they use in cricket. Okay. Then I also said date, which is a food, and another date, which is an event. As an example, I said I brought her a date on our date. Okay, so that means the first date here will be the food, the second date will be the event. Okay, then I came again, I said tip, which is the end of a sub object, and there's also tip, which is an important thing to remember. Right, right. So let me go to the chat and see what you're saying. We have Okay, we have a viewer saying left and left. Yes, that's correct. We know the first left is for, the opposite of right, and the other left is the past tense of the word leave. Then Preston Ford saying match and match, and continues to say the first match is, like in soccer, like a soccer match, and the second match is that stick, like a safety match. Thank you, Preston. That is good. Then we have Nkanka saying saw and saw. Remember, the first saw is the past tense of the word see, and the second saw is that instrument we use to cut wood, right? Wood and planks. Yes. Neo saying Neo Neo, the one you wrote C as in C S double E and SEA. Those are not homonyms. Those are homophones. Okay, those are homophones. Why? Because they sound the same, but they are not written the same. Okay, so those are homophones. They are not homonyms. With homonyms, these words they are spelled the same, and they sound the same, but they mean different things. Okay, right. We have Helene saying star, star for the star in the sky, thank you, and star for people that are famous. For example, soccer star, superstar. Thank you, Helene. That's correct. That's wonderful example of homonyms. Then we have Preston saying cheap and chip. Okay, so it's saying that the first chip is that one we eat, like French fries, and the second chip is the one of a device, that small technological device in our phones, in our tablets and laptops. Those are chips. Thank you, Preston. Thank you. Then we have Dash saying watch with the watch as in like to watch with your eyes, that is to look, and we have watch with which is a noun. The watch, which is that instrument we use to tell the time, right? So Leslie as says peer as in like age group, and peer as in to peer through a window, to look close through a window. Thank you. Right. Thank you so much. Then there is another one. In Kanka say tie and tie. So the first tie is when you tie, the action of tying, and the second one is the tie, that clothing you wear with your formal clothes. Then we have another example from Dash saying tear, as in like tear, that water which comes from your eye, as well as tear, which is when you tear off a paper. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Favor gift is saying the same. All right, then we have Preston Ford saying mouse. Okay, there's an emoji there. Thank you, Preston. That's amazing. So Preston saying mouse, and he put an emoji there of a mouse. Mouse, the animal, that pest, which yes, the mouse, the pest, the mouse, and another mouse which represents that equipment we use with our computers. Yes, the one we use to scroll, the mouse. Thank you, Kristen. That's a very wonderful example. Thank you for that mouse emoji. Thank you. Then we have, let's see, favor gift saying bow and bow. Okay, we know the first bow is that one we use to shoot an arrow, and the second one is when you bow. After like when you see those people in place, when after they are done acting, they will bow. Thank you. Thank you for this example, favor. Then we have another one from Dash saying ring and ring. So we know the first ring is the one we wear on our fingers when we are married or engaged, like that ring of a jewelry. And another one is the ring of, when you ring the bell, like ding ding. Yeah. Then Preston Fords, wow, you are so all over in the chat, Preston. Thank you so much for the wonderful main examples you are sharing with us today. You are a star. Yes, then saying hit and hit. So the first hit is the verb, right? When you hit something, and another hit can be a song. That song which is so good, they call it a hit. Thank you, Preston. Then we have another example saying right. So okay, so the first right is the opposite of left, and the first right and the second right is when you are correct. Okay. So thank you guys, thank you so much for your wonderful examples. Now I think we can go straight to paronyms. This is something we haven't done before, and this is something which is almost confusing. So we will spend a great deal of time in our lesson focused on it. Right, so I'm going to take a few more homonym examples that I didn't go through in the chat, and then we go to paronyms. Right. So Mkon says to lag, Lag, lag meaning to cover water pipes with a thick material. Okay, thank you. And again, lag meaning to not keep up. Wow, thanks Mkon. That's a wonderful example. Then we have they're saying letter and letter. Okay, the first letter is the letters of the alphabet. Then the second letter is the letter we write to our friends and things. Okay. So we have Tyree saying paronyms are words that are related because they originally come from the same word or they have the same root or stem as another word. That's a complicated. That is a complicated definition. Let's read it again for everybody to understand. So Tyrese is saying that paronyms are words that are related because they originally come from the same word. Okay. Paronyms are the words which are related because they have the same root as another word. Thank you, Tyrese. That's very excellent. And okay, the definition I gave, I said a paronym is a word that comes from the same root as another word, and they may have a similar meaning. And I said that paronyms are linked to each other by the similarity of their forms. Okay, so now you see that this section of paronyms, to some extent, it does make us to go back to what we did yesterday. Remember yesterday we learned we learned about roots, right? We learned about roots. We said that a root is the what did we say a root is? We said that a root is the base of a word. Okay, it is the main form of a word is a root, right? Okay, so let's see. Tyrese has given us some examples in the chat. Wow, Tyrese, you really can type very fast. Okay, so Tyrese has given us some examples in the chat. He says vigil, invigilate, vigilant, and vigilante. Okay, let me see if I can copy them. Okay, I can copy. Okay, it's fine. All right, I think, okay, let's go to Tyrese's examples that Tyrese has given us. Right, Tyrese, right. So Tyrese says visual. Remember, what is a visual? A visual is when, people will stay up or they will be getting something. Then from the root word visual here, we can get the word invigilate. What is the word invigilate? We can think of it in the context when teachers will be in the exam room, right, looking for you guys when you write your exams, right? Yes. Then vigilant, what is vigilant? To be vigilant is to be careful, to have your eyes open for something, okay? So right now I can say when they will tell you be vigilant, that is, take precautions, be cautious, be extremely cautious. And then we have a vigilante. What is a vigilante? A vigilante is someone who is vigilant, someone who loves being vigilant, someone who really like to take vigils, make vigils, right? Thank you, Tyrese. That is a wonderful examples of power names, right? And you will see that it really goes with our example. So it really do go with so these examples, they are consistent with the definition of power names. Okay, so power names are quite tricky, guys. That is why we will spend a lot of time on it in today's lesson. Paronyms are the last section of the lesson, and you will realize that we really had to learn about roots yesterday, so that when we come to learn about paronyms today, it's going to be easier because now we understand what roots are. Okay, yes. So, okay, let me go through the examples I gave first, and then I will go through the examples that which you are giving in the chat. Okay, all right. So remember, if you have a question, the chat is still open. I have my chat open here. So if you have a question or concerns, please ask, then we will help you. And if you also have examples of paronyms, the chat is also open for you to share your examples with us. Right? So let me share my examples with you. So I said affect is a paronym of effect, right? Why? Remember, you will realize that they really come from the same root, right? And even their meaning is similar. Okay, what is the meaning of affect? The meaning of affect, okay, affect, it almost means the same as effect, right? Okay, let me give an example. Okay, the smoke can affect you, right? The smoke can affect you, the smoke can have an effect on you, right? So I've literally said the same thing. Let me write it there. Okay, I just said the smoke can affect you. So you realize that this almost sounds the same. It sounds the same as the smoke can have an effect on you. Okay, let me highlight them so they can be in yellow. That is my favorite color for examples, by the way. I think you may have realized that. So yes, here we are. Here we are. So yeah, okay, I said affect is a power name of effect. Okay, so from here, the smoke can affect you, right? So you all understand what that means, right? Then even if I also come again and say the smoke can have an effect on you, you will realize that I've literally said the same thing, right? So you would realize there that I really have said the same thing to you, and you will see that the word affect and effect, they really come from the same root. All right, so affect, it comes from the same root as the word effect. Okay, and even their meaning is similar. Okay, all right, so we will do more examples for this one because I believe the more examples we do, the more understandable it will be for everybody. Okay, yes. Then the second example, I said adopt. So the second example is adopt, which is a paronym of adapt. Okay, so what is adopt? To adopt is when you take another, okay, I will put it in the context of the child. So when you adopt, is when you take a child who is not yours biologically, then you bring that child to your family, and you will give, and that child will have the same surname as you. So that child become your adopted child. They become your child, you know, as if like they are, as if like the child is your biological child. Okay, yes. Then with adapt is when you change so that you can be able to get used to a different condition. Okay, for example, it is when a flower, let's say if a flower, it grows up straight vertically, but then because when it grows vertically up, there is no sunlight towards the roof. So what will the flower do? It will bend. It will bend to grow towards the window where there is light. So when it does that, it is adapting. Okay, so you realize that adopt and adapt, they come from the same root word, and they almost have the similar meaning. Because with adopt, the child becomes a part of a new family, and therefore that child will adopt the values of that family, right? With adapt is when somebody comes into a new situation, and start to bend they'll start to bend or to adapt to that new family. You see? So I told you that this is a tricky thing. Let's see what you have in the chat. So many questions in the chat. Let's see which one came first. All right, first, okay. There is another example from a viewer saying collision and collusion. All right. So collision collision is when two things they bump into each other. That is when they collide, right? That is a collision. And usually collisions they happen accidentally, right? Yes. Then with a collusion is when two things come together, but this time it's not by accident, but this time it is intentional. Okay, right? Okay, let me give an example. If you run and I also run, we run towards each other, but we do not see each other, then we bumped into each other, we collide. That is a collision. A collision, right? Let me write it down. Okay, let me go to the next slide. All right, so it's collision and collusion. Collusion. So with collision is when we collide, okay, and that is usually accidental. But with collusion is when you and I we agree to become a part of a team. We agree to come together. We agree to put our heads together. Okay, so you realize that these they almost sound the same, but they are not the same, and they really come from the same root word, you know. So you see that collision come from the root word of collusion. Okay. Yes. So let me go to the chat because I see there are more questions than examples. So it will be fair for us to really go through those questions and answer them. So we have Mkon asking us, biography and biology, are they paronyms? No, Mkon, they are not paronyms. Let me show you why they are not paronyms. Okay, let me open a new slide here. Okay, so I just opened a new slide here to show Mkon that these are not paronyms and why they are not paronyms. So Mkon is asking about if biography and biology are paronyms, right? And I say they are not paronyms. Why? Look, our definition of a paronym, we say a paronym is a word that has the same root as another word, and they often have a similar meaning. So in another word, we can say a paronym is a word that comes from another word. Okay, right. So let's look at biography and biology. So we'll realize that bio here for biography as well as bio here for, okay, let me underline them and write them in yellow. So all those in yellow, they are our prefixes. Then graph here is our root. Let me write it in italic. So graph there is our root. Okay. Then logi is not a root, but is a suffix. All right. Logi is a suffix. Let me underline it in white. So it is a suffix which means the study of. Okay, right. So from biography it means life. Okay, it means the life. Okay, bio is a prefix, right? Graph graph is root, and this y is a suffix. So I'll underline it in white. So you'll see here that okay, the root here is graph, and in biology there is no graph. So biology only has the prefix bio and the suffix logi. It doesn't have a root. Okay, therefore biography and biology are not paronyms. Are you with me, Mkon? Do you understand now? Okay, now let's go to the next question. The next question we have, okay, no, it's not a question, it's an example. Favor gift saying political and politics. Right, yes, those are paronyms because political, it comes from the root word, it comes from the root politics. So from the root politic, we have added the suffix al so that it becomes political. All right, I hope you all understand that. Thank you. Liseri as saying, say I don't understand exactly what is the purpose of a paronym. So Liseri, the purpose of a paronym is when we get another form of a word. Okay, so let me use this example from Fever Gift, right? So Fever Gift has said politics and political, right? So we know that we know that what is politics? Politics is a what? Politics is a noun, okay? So if I'm talking about something which has to do with politics, then I have to add the the adjective the adjective form of the noun politics. So what is that adjective form? It will be the word political, right? So we see that the word political there, let me write in italics, the word politic is the root, okay? And then the al will become our suffix, that which we add, so that the word political becomes an adjective to describe something which is about politics. You see, so paronyms really are about getting a word from another word, okay? Getting a different form from the word we already have. Like I have demonstrated here with the example of politics and political. I hope you understand, Lisedi. Like I said, this is a complicated section. That's why I've used as many examples as I can possibly get. Right. So thanks, Aviwe. Thank you, Aviwe. Yes, for collusion is a secret or illegal cooperation or conspiracy. Yes. And a collision is when one object strikes another. Yes. So collusion and collision is about two things coming together. So with collision is when two things come together because of an accident. But with collusion is when two things come together because of agreement. Okay. Thank you guys. Right. Let's see if there is any more questions. Yes, thank you, Avu. Alternately and alternatively are also paronyms. Thank you so much for that. Yes, Preston, appreciate and appreciative are also paronyms. Why? Because we get the word appreciate from the word appreciative. So appreciate is our verb, right? Is our action word. Then appreciative, it is the adjective form of the word appreciate. So we have added our suffix "ive" so that it becomes an adjective. Thank you, Preston. Right, right. Let's see if there are any other questions there. Yes, President, eat and eaten is also correct. Thank you, Kon. Thank you that now you understand. Remember, if you do not understand, the chat is there for you so that you can ask a question. Okay, Preston Ford saying football and footballer. Yes, that is a good example for paronyms. Why? Because football is a noun and it's about the sport, right? It's about the sport or even the ball they use in the sport. And footballer, we have added the suffix er, the suffix r, so that it becomes a person, right? Remember when we did the prefixes and the suffixes yesterday? This is what we said. Yes, so let me show you a few more examples I've shared with you. We only have a few minutes left now. So yes, we have interesting as a paronym of the word interested, right? Yes. So yeah, that is what it is. That is what it is. So with interested, we use interested when we talk about a person, you know, that he is interested in gaming, right? But when we talk about a thing, we say this game is interesting. Okay. So you will see that with paronyms is when we want a different form of the word which we have and we want it to mean the same thing. Okay. So yes, that is how it works. Right. So are we all together, guys? I only have a minute left, and today there is no homework. Yeah, today there's no homework. Okay. So let's go to the summary of what we did today. So today what we did synonyms. We said those are the words which mean the same as another word, right? There are different synonyms are different words, but they mean the same thing, right? We also talk about antonyms. saying that antonyms are words which mean the opposite of each other. We also talked about homonyms, that homonyms are words which are spelled the same and they sound the same when they are pronounced, but they have different meanings. Then we also talked about paronyms. We said that a paronym is a word that comes from the same root as another word and they have a similar meaning. Okay, so that is what today really was all about. So that is what today was all about. So good. So today there is no homework today, and in case you are wondering lesson what tomorrow's lesson will be all about, tomorrow it will be about transactional writing. So we will be learning about how to write a review of a story or a novel. Okay, so that is what today will be all about. And thank you so much for joining us for today's lesson. So we will meet again tomorrow, same time, same place. Remember, although the lesson is over, the conversation is not over. We still are on social media. Remember, you can follow us on YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. Speak to us, talk to us. We want to hear your comments, your compliments, your complaints, and everything in between. So, from all of us at STEM Lockdown Digital School, we love you guys. Keep well, take care, and we will see you tomorrow. Bye bye.